Well, what is content? I mean, even a tiny, small, 15 words comment under a post is a content. How to create content for social media. Well, this is something very, 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 and very important. It's an aphorism, but I believe it 100%. I know you're not individuals. I mean, it's not John, Helen, Margaret, Paul, whatever, but it's each one of you represent an organization, a ministry, an agency, a state agency, whatever. But still, when you post on the behalf of your whatever agency, you are an individual. You represent that thing. It's you. If you do not interact with your audience, then just forget it. There's no reason for you to be there. If you do not interact, it's social after all. It's not a monologue. These media are social. Interact with your audience. Respond. Respond with your audience. They need you. That's why they write. Even if they write nasty comments, insulting comments, whatever, they do it because they need to stroke you and they want to feel your stroke back. There is an old funny story about a lady who used to clean every Friday evening the office of the CEO of an agency. He never greeted her, he never saw her, he never talked with the lady, never. He was always very busy, he was always very well. So one day, what did she do? She left his office untidy. Cigarettes, dirty ashtray, papers here and there and all that. The guy stepped in after a meeting, saw everything. What have you done here? This is a mess. And she was pleased. She was happy because she managed to create an interaction even so negative. She had a contact with the guy. And of course, she did what she had to do with the office and everything, but she was satisfied. Interaction. When you interact, you need to interact like a human being and not like a distant authority from another planet or whatever. Respond to comments, messages, and mentions promptly. Engage with your audience by asking questions. Yes, dear John, why you say so? Why you are unhappy with this decision of our minister? What makes you react like that? Whatever. Respond like a human being. You're not a tool. You're not a hammer, like the walking hammers in the wall of Pink Floyd. You're a human being. That's what they need from you. A positive human reaction, or even a negative one. But they want a human reaction. They want you to know that they are there So if they are there and you know it, they feel that they are a part of the whole. It's an essence of belonging, of being together, of togetherness. It's us, citizens of this city, state, country, continent, planet, galaxy, or whatever. Asking questions, conducting polls regularly, so you know where they stand, and participating on relevant conversations. I was talking to a colleague a little while ago. Very few years ago, I had the privilege to create the communication and creative strategy of the National Health System of Cyprus, GESI, of what we call GESI. And of course, in our agenda was to create also the social media things for this huge organization. And I was very sad to see thousands and thousands of people commenting, asking questions, expressing agony, expressing gratefulness also, sometimes, many times. No one was there to respond. No one. No one. Every now and then, very rare, someone with not a name, but under the title of GESI, whatever, so it's written on the main post. So, I'm not going down to the great stupidity of someone is selling a car and making a post, writing that this car costs, let's say, 22,000 euros. And under the post, someone asks, what's the price? Which is also very regular, but that's not our case. We're talking about organizations, public organizations, ministers, agencies, state agencies, authorities. If we really want to create a society with some based on principles cohesion, then we always need to respond. We can ignore very rude things, maybe, okay, but we need to respond. And personally, I suggest that the people working for institutions, for social media institutions, etc., they need to have a name. There must be a John, a Joan, a George, a Nick, a Helen, a Margarita, and parenthesis, Ministry of whatever, Secretary of Migration, whatever, a title. Yes, okay, but you need to be a John, you need to be a Helen, you need to be a Georgia, Steve, you need to have a face, an identity, so they know where to reply, to respond. Okay, this is absolutely understandable. We talked before about the spectacle, the great spectacle. Content versus spectacle? It's a question. We will meet the reply later on. The key to building your reputation on social media is the content that you are posting and how much the public enjoys it or understands it. Nevertheless, the public has to react. Having a proper social media content strategy is key to provide relevant content to your audience. Relevant. And relevant content is not only the content, we said that before, the how, the wording, the vocabulary, the styling, everything is very, very important. Fancy me like if I started now talking in Japanese, I don't know how, but it doesn't matter, to an absolutely strange language to all of us. And carrying on the same style, the same expressions and movements and everything, but talking blah blah, bidi bidi, no, you didn't. I didn't. None of us did. We need to be relevant. On a social media, we are not an authority. We are not didactic, how I say it. Never. We need to understand and be part of the whole, of the everything. Knowing who our target audience is, understanding the needs they have. That's the only way to create a relevant content. The core audience will consist of your state's citizens, businesses, stakeholders working with us. Demographics, psychography, audience feedback, competitor analysis. Age, gender, location, relevant characteristic of the audience interacting with us. Delve into the interests, values, or behaviors of our audience. What are their concerns? What topics are they passionate about? Feedback, surveys. But surveys is not a word. Surveys are crucial if the questionnaire are proper, wise, mild, sharp, everything. Because from every reply, we take this and that and this and that, bits and pieces. It's like music we were talking before. Note, tap, 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 to create the harmony of our audience. Even if it's a mess, it's still a harmony. Chaos is beautiful if you know how to manage it. The way to manage it is knowing in it. There's no other way. Competitor analysis. Okay, do we have a competition? Is this commercial advertising or communication? Yes, we do. You all guys are connected with the migration, correct? Yes, you do have a competition. Strong one. Nationalism, racism, far-right extremism, conservatism, fear is our main competitor. Fear. Fear. Who? What this dark guy wants in my neighborhood? Fear. It's a competitor. And actually, it's a working competitor. Posting, writing articles, speaking to audiences in parliaments or in neighborhoods or in squares, cultivating hate, and this wall of hate turns into a tsunami of hate, which makes your work hardest, unbearable. Yes, you do have competitors, not because you are in a ministry or in an agency means that you are not in a market. Society is a market of ideas, if you want to say so. So you need to be strong, and you need to know how to use your content. But in our case, who is the competitor? Yeah. That's a post from Mrs. Connie Chastain Bednar. I hear on the news that protesters, brackets, will be going to rural areas next. This is amusing to me, as those protesters' bodies will never be found. This is real. It's not a fiction. This is bloody real. I see this kind of posts every day in Cyprus internet and Cyprus social media, and very, 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 very often under the posts of a current member of parliament who cultivates on purpose this kind of reactions. He's very clever. He never writes things straight, but he cultivates this kind of reactions, and never, but never calls for order in his audience. Never. He creates the notion, and then he leaves his crowd, his hooligans, to react and behave and swear and everything. Public enemy, that's how I call these guys, this type of politicians. Public enemy. They are your competition. Actually, they are the competitors of the human race, of course. How do we react in social media? This is not a wise post, guys. We love it. It's a good expression for us. We agree with the people. We, the people, will bring change. Fight racism. Yes, I'm with it. Absolutely. But that's not the way to react, to respond to that. That's not the way to respond to Mrs. Connie Chastain Bednar. No way. With this, the only thing we will achieve is to empower, to reinforce her style, her reaction, her hate. Nothing else. That's all we will do. This is fine for us. Okay. But the society is not us. And the agency we represent, it's not the society. The agency we represent is trying to be a part of the society, trying. And it also tries to find a way to respond. Authoritarian didactics is the easiest way for a rejection. No matter what your message is. If you represent an authority, you need to be tolerant. The very same way we are trying to teach people to be tolerant with diversity, the very same way we need to be tolerant with that part of society, the reacting part of society. We need to step into our audience's shoes, show empathy for their agonies. Here's a nice story, 3 minutes. Years ago in Greece, there was a huge rising problem in an old suburb in Athens, Petralona, something like that. Many foreigners, poor immigrants, hanging in the square every night, many times drinking beers or whatever. Dynamic, powerful, anti-racist organization made a gathering there, open in the public, and they started doing speeches. We were the brothers of everything, and brothers and sisters, and we are all one, and you know, peace, love, brother. I was there in a corner, just observing. I'll never forget this scene. An old man, 75, 79, 80, something like that, went to one of these guys, very, very, very gently. Excuse me, young man. Yes. You know, yeah, I'm all right with all that, but you know, the neighborhood has changed, and I don't feel comfortable going out for a walk at night anymore because there are troubles, etc. He pushed him back. Get off me, bloody fascist! What did he achieve? The great revolution guy? He created, in a second, a loyal voter of the Golden Dawn Party, the neo-Nazi. Just like that. Just like that. In less than half a minute, he added one more vote for this criminal gang. Thank God they're all in prison now. But that's not how you show empathy. Because the old man, he has a very relevant and true agony. He grew up in a neighborhood, and suddenly his environment is not what it was. No one prepared him. No one talked to him. Nothing. Everything changed. And he dared to go and ask, yes, but you know, fuck off, fascist. Okay, what did he say, the old man? Okay, I'm a fascist. If you want me so, I will be a fascist. Same thing in social media. Very same thing in social media. The two ways for a great failure is not to respond. That means we do not exist. We are invisible. We are faceless. You are something like coming out from Aldous Huxley stories or George Orwell 1984 or faceless. Or we respond in the wrong way, moving our hand and fingers like that, which is the very same outcome in the end. Relevance. From any survey we'll do and the analysis, we will know what interests, concerns. This is a very, very, very important word. They concern. They worry. They need to know you are relevant to them. They need to know you understand them. We have to break the distance. The need of our audience. Speak directly to their aspirations, tone and style. This is very important also. Do not speak like ministers, do not write like presidents or secretaries of the minister, or in the unbelievable blocked language that most of the agencies appeal to advertising agencies. We need a campaign. For example, they say, we need a campaign for this and that and this and that. A brief will follow, and the brief comes the other day, next day after, and it's something that it's 2 pages or 3, but we need to spend 5 weeks to understand what they say, because they talk in a language, in a code, that they only understand between them when they talk between them, that's all. Absolutely irrelevant with the public, even with the specialists of communication or whatever. And when it comes to social media, where you need to respond to a very broad audience, yes, I'm very, very, very sorry to see that still in 2023, 24 is tomorrow, still many state agencies insist on communicating in a way that leads to a dead end, because there is no communication. It's only a reply, if there is one. Consider the time, no. Adopt a more conversational approach. Check, please, I think they're still there, some Facebook pages of British organizations, etc. It's not a coincidence, though Britain is, unfortunately, not anymore a member of the European Union, but I'll tell you this, from all the states of Europe, from all the countries of Europe, it was, and I believe it still is, the one and only number 10, the one and only Prime Minister office, where you make a call and they respond, they take a note, and you have an email in 1 day, or at least in 48 hours. They always reply. They always have a correct response. If you have a question, they will take a note, and in 2 days you will have a full email with every detail you need, and sometimes signed from the PM, though he has no idea. It doesn't matter. The whole thing works for him, the whole thing works for society, or used to. I don't know what's happening now. But I remember when I was in England, I had to communicate, to contact the PM's office, the Prime Minister's office. I wanted to ask something. They provided me with a huge reply in mail, not email, in mail, in 3 days. With the closing paragraph, if I'm not happy, please do not hesitate to contact again. Well, I was more than happy, even for that ending paragraph. Consider the type of content that resonates with your audience and what works on different social media. This can include articles, videos, polls, and of course, as said before many times, the personal response of someone representing the institution. It's crucial, essential, extremely important to create to each one of the citizens the notion that you, as a state and as an institution, provide empathy, a step approach to practice empathy. Empathy is the key for every change. But if we are expecting this empathy to come out of nowhere in the middle of Sahara Desert or in the streets or from every anonymous citizen, it will never come. Perspective taking or put yourself in someone else's shoes. That's a duty for an institution and for each one working for an institution representing state policies. Stay out of judgment and listen. Remember the old man, fuck off fascist. And they created a fascist. Recognize emotion in another person that you have felt before. Communicate that you recognize that emotion. Simple steps. When you are in front of your laptop, computer, whatever, responding, moderating, whatever, the Facebook or whatever page of your institution, yes, you are the institution, but at the very same moment, you're John, Helen, Margaret, Kate, whatever. It's you. React as a human being, but with tolerance, with kindness, with a spirit of understanding and trying to explain, look, just imagine that you're sitting on a sofa with a friend of yours, a very good friend of yours, drinking, sharing a glass of wine or whatever, and suddenly you need to talk to this friend about this public matter, whatever public matter. How will you speak? How will you talk? What vocabulary you will use? Will you speak like someone with an authority? No. It will be just you and your friend. Okay, find a balance there, because it's not exactly you and your friend, but find a balance and gain empathy, because when you gain empathy with your audience, then you plant the seed for all your tasks to be more crystal clear to the public, especially when it comes to matters of extremely important topics like migration. Migration is a never-ending story. You all know that. It has never stopped in human history, but we are not carrying the human history. We have a very short memory. If we are reading books and if we have a academic, whatever background, we do have a notion of what happened in the previous 20, 30 years. We have a very, very abstract understanding of what happened 200 years ago. We have a notion of what will happen in the next 50 years, and we have an extremely abstract notion of what will happen in 2 or 3 centuries. Our memory goes back and forward as a reflection, a reaction, a knowledge that comes from our biological circle. We can't go beyond, ahead or behind. We can't. It's only logic, knowledge, and synthesis. But I'm here at this very moment, so I can look back and I can look forward. An editorial calendar is necessary for planning all social media campaigns. It will allow you to prepare your content in advance, look forward, look backward. and post consistently, which is essential for engaging our audience. Indeed. Use upcoming events, as reconstructions, elections, or anything relevant for your constituents to come up with themes and posts. Yes, this is important. This is very important. Your page represents the institution of migration or whatever. But in the country next to you, only 1 hour walk, drive, something very important happened. Something very bad, an explosion, something very important politically, elections, or I don't know, or a fantastic festival, Rolling Stones presenting the new record, Hackney. Okay, add something relevant to your next post. Find a way to connect something that is happening around you with what you want to say in this particular moment. This is a way, a very simple way, to connect with daily life of your audience. It doesn't matter to be Rolling Stones, of course. Though I like the last record, it's great. It's all right. But here we are. Even if there are some changes, you can adjust your content. But it's important to have a plan and a structure. It's also a good idea to create a library of resources, such as images, videos, and links that you can use during dry spells when nothing in particular happens. Yes, do that. Have an archive there. You're not going to post something important for your agency for the next 2 weeks. Okay, entertain your audience with a video clip, with a joke, maybe relevant with your overall topic, but be there. Being there, Mr. Chunks, Peter Sellers. Be there, be present, be alive. They will love it when they will see and hear a nice video clip or whatever, a nice short film, a cartoon, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. There are amazing things on YouTube, amazing things. And this will open fields for understanding for your next post, especially if you know what your next post will be in 10 days. You have all the space to think and create something nice which will help your post after 10 days to be more relevant, but without being straightforward, something connected. Okay? It's like having, I'll use Ludwig again. You can say today, pa 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 pa, and after 10 days, pa 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 pa, and carry on with the music. Something relevant, but totally different, and something nice. Okay, we said some things about crisis management before. More and more people are turning to social media to seek information, and they can come across tons of incorrect information that sparks panic, indeed. Governments can utilize social media channels to identify and counteract these kinds of fake news, preventing any kind of mass panic. When a real crisis happens, government can use social media to inform people about crisis and best practices for managing them, which saves lives. I think I've said that before. Now, what you guys have to do with the crisis management of that scale, you're just working for an agency connected with migration. Migration is a huge situation, creating crisis in societies, but my opinion, and of course this opinion needs a presidential agreement to be in practice. I believe that when massive crises are in front of us, all institutions, all social media resources from all organizations must have a voice. One message, calm down, whatever, but with different voices. That's how you create cohesion. But all of them, from the page of a general system of health to the page of a ride and park and ride, to the page of, I don't know, Ministry of Agriculture, every page in social media, when a crisis is there, they all need to tune as an orchestra, create the same message with different instruments. A summary. Define goals, know our audience, choose the right platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and maybe Pinterest. I have not included TikTok. And that's on purpose. I may be wrong. I stuck on thinking about TikTok. Should I put it in there? Should I stay or should I go? Should I leave it? I didn't. I think TikTok, it's only some seconds, bidi, blah, blah, blah. Hoopa, 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 things like that. Not serious. I'm not sure that it will be wise for an institution to participate TikTok, though I see politicians becoming TikTokers. I've seen Mitsotakis, I've seen Kasselakis, and everyone else in Akis is turning to TikTokakis. I don't know. If someone has an idea about this, enlighten me, please. I have no idea. Develop a content strategy, what to say, when, and how. Don't wait for the last moment. Don't wait for someone else to come and tell you, tomorrow we need a post. It doesn't work like that. Consistency. Engaging visuals always leading to texted content, always leading to texted content. Interaction and leverage hashtags, okay. Finally, is content versus spectacle? No. The question is good balance leading to content. Still, we need to remember one thing. Social media works only with interaction. Otherwise, it's not media and it's not social. That's all, folks. Where was that? That's all, folks. Yep. Yeah. Looney Tunes. Yeah. All right, that's all, folks. Any questions? Answers? Views? Silence.
I have a question.
Yes? You can have a question. I don't know if you have an answer, but carry on.
Because you said choose the right platform. You said choose the right platform. How do we choose the right platform for what we want to
I think I repeated the phrase research, questionnaire. You need to search your audience. You see, you need to search for their habits, preferences, and everything. You have a I guess you have a database of people around your agency, which is a society, actually. So you need to make questionnaires, see where they stand, what they follow. Do they follow Facebook, Instagram, this and that, everything all together, nothing? Suddenly all of them decided to go and live in the caves. I don't know. That would be nice. But you need to find your audience, to make all the demographics and psychographics and all the affix there are to understand. You can really, from a good survey, you can really identify and photograph your audience. You can photograph, yes, you can see. Oh, that's my audience. Okay. All right, you'll see now. You can really understand why they are there, what they want. It's something we do all the time in commercial advertising. We need to know who is drinking Johnny Walker and why we can turn him into drinking I don't know what. Valentine's. Exists a comment of Valentine's? Okay. And so on. We can identify all sorts of groups through smart, flexible, and working questionnaires. Questions that people can reply easily, not to bring them into, And of course, not by name. Otherwise, they will never reply. But yes, you can find the tastes of your audience, and then you'll know.
Which platform? Yeah. You also mentioned LinkedIn. I thought, because it's a media that we do not usually use in the government, I thought it was mainly for finding employees or work, like a professional network. How do we use it as a government agency? What's the usefulness of this platform?
Didn't get it?
How do we use LinkedIn as a government agency? What's our audience there, the LinkedIn platform?
What's your institution?
I work as a press officer for the Commissioner for the Environment.
Great. Don't you have a Facebook page?
Yes.
There you are.
It's the same thing, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
All we're talking about is the tone, the content, the style, the way you need to act and react in a social media as an institution. And all I'm trying to say is that though you are an institution, an agency, when you come to a post, you need to behave like what you are, like a human being, talking to another human being, and never ignore what your audience, what the citizens say, never. Unless they are extremely rude or whatever, Yes?
The problem I see with interaction on social media, on behalf of the ministry, of a minister, is that they are afraid to get exposed. Because the comments we get on social media are usually complaints.
Of course they are.
So the ministry and the minister, they have to respond to what they do about these complaints.
Yes.
And that's not something they want to do, usually.
Wrong. Look, here's a post. And under the post, there were 300 comments. Someone has to read them one by one. Someone has to pick that very comment which had a lot of likes. You did well asking that, whatever. Pick that comment, which is popular, and reply as a ministry, as an authority, in a friendly way, in an explicable way, in a way that you'll be understood. That will be a great success. We did that for Pack and Ride. Very, 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 very recently. Park and ride is, great, great. Okay, we did that. We've been, actually, because I was very involved in that thing, I said to my partners, let me handle this for a couple of days. Complaints. They didn't even know what was the park and ride thing. They haven't tried it yet. But still they were complaining for something they didn't know. That's how Cypriots are, and not only Cypriots. So what we did was we waited for a couple of days. We picked up a couple of questions or complaints that they were very popular among the crowd, and we placed a very nice and well-put and well-texted and well-phrased, gentle but honest answers on the behalf of the Minister of Υπουργείο Μεταφορών, whatever. And suddenly, the wind went down, and gradually, the popularity of the page and of the park and ride system, it pushed people to try, and everything worked in less than 8 days. It worked perfectly. No complaints anymore. I checked 2 days ago.
I'm the press officer for the Ministry of Transport.
Ah, good.
Just the last 3 weeks, so I wasn't involved on the park and ride thing.
Pity.
The things are not doing so well now. I mean, in terms of complaints.
There are always complaints, but the park and ride thing is successful.
You say when you use it. It's not, and the numbers and the people who use it, they find it very successful.
Yes.
But the others who are riding their car,
The others.
These are the ones who complain about the congestion.
Let them complain.
Okay.
Park and ride is one of those things pushing mentalities and culture to change. They complain now. They will not complain in 2 years. Things will change. You need to force parts of society to change. Force. From the one hand, you are trying to do your best for them to understand, but from the other hand, you cannot sacrifice the future because they complain. Let them complain. We can go around with a guitar and sing them a song. The people using park and ride are not complaining anymore at all. The first day was 7 or 8 people in the bus. Second day, 22 or 23. And suddenly it's packed.
Yes, they added more routes. We added more routes because we added more routes because the buses are full.
Yes,
and people will
exactly.
stay behind.
Precisely. They complain. Okay, complain. There's a nice blues from B.B. King with the sound of complaint. Yeah. Sorry.
I will stay also in the comments discussion. All is clear when you have something to say. If you have the empathy, because you have a John, a Margarita, whatever, Shani and Ellie and whoever, I think in these days, these people have empathy more with the people that ride rather than the government, I dare to say. So I understand that you answer and you respond if you have something to say which is true and honest. So what happens if you do handle the social media, you know what they say or ask or complain about or are frustrated or fed up or whatever, they are right and you don't have an answer. Because if you do give the official answer, it wouldn't be true. So you just ignore it, you are Margaret or John or whatever, or you become something else and you skip the part of honesty.
Well, look, in this business, you need to be every second, every moment creative. That means.
But they see through you.
Yes, yes. In that case, you need to balance everything and decide if you evaluate this particular comment such as so important to react in a way, I'm not saying the way yet, or to ignore it. If it's a very rude complaint, a hooligan type complaint or language, like the comments under, I will say it.
These are easy, you just ignore them. They are easy.
Yes. It's all right.
No.
But if it's a comment with true complaints, honest and gentle, personally, I would dare to call this person into a private message, explain my difficulty, and trying to say, I don't have an answer yet, we are studying that, but not in public, in a private message. You'll turn this person into an ally, just like that. You'll turn this person into an ally. And this is very important, because next time, this person will go in a public post and say, yeah, you know, they're trying this and that. You'll create a positive ambience. You cannot do that with every complaint. No way. You'll kill your life. But every now and then, you can judge where you can pick up a comment and make it personal as an agency, not as a Antonia. And in your glasses, anyway. As an agency. But hi, I am Antonia from Minister of whatever, or Maria, or whatever. With whom I was? I cannot remember now. It was very recently. I had to communicate with an organization, a big organization. And I made a comment, and they never replied. And then I said, I'll send a message, just for fun. They will never reply, but, well, they replied in 20 minutes. And then I had a chat with this lady, Maria, Katina, I don't remember. And she explained everything to me, and I was very satisfied. And I said, yeah, Sita. Sita. All right. You see, when it comes to social media, when it comes to communication, we all need to be active every single second in the working hours.
My comment was on the park and ride thing, where you said let them complain. But I'm one of the complainers. So where is the empathy in your answer? Where is the listening and hearing out and
I didn't understand.
being
Sorry.
in my shoes?
What?
The lady said there's a lot of complaints from the riders of their own cars and not using the service of park and ride.
Yeah.
And your answer was let them complain.
Yes.
The tides are
Of course, you have the right to
shifting.
complain.
Yes, but I don't find your answer was very in the appropriate or empathy.
I know what you're trying to say, and you're absolutely right. But.
I'm not finished.
Sorry.
We will be complaining. I don't think people are going to stop complaining, because when they designed the whole thing, they didn't factor in all the other people who are not in a position to use the park and ride service. And there was no, alternative for us. So they fixed one problem, but they created another one. So it will be a complaint. People are not going to stop complaining. So maybe they did fix the problem, but they created another one. So I don't think they are pushing something about boundaries of society, because there's a new one here. We've just give birth to a new problem.
What's the new one? The problem.
So there were 2 lanes.
Yes.
To use, so when you were driving towards Nicosia, and now there's 1 lane, and maybe there was there are less cars now, supposedly, driving in the streets, but it took me 20 minutes to drive to my job, and now it takes me 40 minutes. So even if I wake up earlier, it's still gonna take me, if not 40, it's gonna take me 30 minutes. So I'm stuck in traffic for a ridiculous amount of hours, for a distance that takes 8 minutes when there's 0 traffic. So that's the problem. It's not a very long commutes, they're not very healthy, being stuck in traffic for so long.
It's not healthy at all, actually.
Yeah, but
The problem is, the thing is that when you have a change, that it's not, you know, just like that. I mean, it's a chain change with lots of different chapters coming together after a while. Yes, you definitely have these kind of problems. I know that they are working hard to complete peripheral roads, bridges, new lanes, new buses, all these, how we call it?
infrastructure?
It's not only infrastructure, it's the whole philosophy of the... Oh, my mind is stuck now.
See, sometimes what these complainers want is just an answer that, you know what, we hear you, we're working on it.
Yes. That's what they do. But there is also a big problem of culture and mentality. I insist on that. Everyone wants change and something better, but not when it affects me. That's a problem. Isn't it? Anyway. Yes, please.
I think it's up to an agency or a public body to decide. It's a big decision to be made whether they're going to go into allowing commenting under the post or not, or choosing to accept messages through the page directly. And this, I think, relates also to many, many factors. I'm not disagreeing with all the principles you just presented there. It's just, for one, it's about human resources. You have to have the human resources to go through, or you have to have the money to pay other people to do that, go through all these comments, filtering, go through processes that go into hierarchy and even go up to top level of decisions to even answer specific questions. So all this stuff go into the decision of whether to allow or not commenting, or just allow the liking and the resharing part of it. So
why will you be on a social media if you do not allow commenting? It reminds me
social
of
media,
some organizations, and that includes political parties, who they post videos on YouTube, and comments are not allowed. Personally, of course, this is very personal, I go mad with it, because I want to say my opinion, damn it. I mean, why you have this politician there talking, bidi, 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 no comments underneath?
it's not an issue of, not allowing people to express themselves. As I said, it's a decision to be made in regards to the huge jungle that's going to become under the posts that are going to be up there. And also, mainly, as I said, it's a decision of who is going to go through filtering and deciding on the content to be posted as replies and so on. And I'm actually impressed or surprised that, and I was maybe wondering first whether you deal with public bodies before in terms of this type of strategies, whether to go into this discussion or to this decision, because there are right now ministries and public bodies that decided not to go into allowing comments. But if you want to express your voice and your comments, you can hit the other button where you can send private messages to the page, and those will be answered accordingly. So I was wondering whether you did have this kind of discussion, this kind of question, whether in your work deal with public bodies that had this type of discussion, and if they decided to go into allowing the post, how they deal with it internally on filtering and going through the comments under the post.
This is a never-ending discussion, first of all. But what I represent as a culture is that you definitely need to have the comments there, and you definitely need to allow people to express themselves and questions and everything. And you definitely need, we are in 2023, to have a special, let's call it task force, some people educated, smart, well-informed, and fully dedicated in reading, understanding, and reacting whenever they decide to do so, because they judge so. Here in Cyprus, we still have an almost a religious faith to hierarchies. And we still wait for the number one to say, so we can all cough. Or say a stupid joke, and then we all laugh because he said a joke, though it was damn stupid. That doesn't work that way. This is keeping us still. And in this rapidly changing world, to stay still means speeding backwards. We need to it's what my presentation said in the very, very, very first lines. It's social media. You cannot go on social media by killing the social part of it. There's no reason. Then just print press releases for newspapers and magazines, or announcements, or radio messages, whatever. But you cannot have a Facebook page or an Instagram page or whatever without allowing comments and interacting with comments. There's no way, there's no reason. And it's actually, to have a page as an institution and not allowing comments or ignoring comments is the safest and soonest way, fastest way to alienate what you call your audience. It's not your audience anymore. They are alienated. And they will be there only to be sarcastic or ironic or aggressive. You need to interact. Otherwise, why you are there? Don't be there.
You said dedicated people.
Yes, of course. πώς το λένε,
If there are factors that are not going into this equation, then this equation cannot be written down and be executed. If you are missing people, if you are missing specific parts of it, then you as an institution or as a public body, you have to reconsider of how you deal with it. Instead of, so as you said, we're not disagreeing, but it's an issue of the factors that are necessary to have this work. As I said, I totally agree
Yes.
with your philosophy and what you presented. It's just an issue of whether you have the necessary factors, people, and all the other means that you have to deal with this as soon as
yeah,
you go
for
there.
an institution in a cyber scale, I don't think that any institution needs more than 3 persons, even, or 2 even, Monday to Friday, fully dedicated but well educated, with an expertise to social media to check, filter, react, respond, or not respond, or whatever. Ouch.
You mentioned before about the empathy as a key for change. And I was wondering, what about emotional intelligence in the social media field, or how it can be useful for the adjustment or the adaptability of the audience to the new change?
Can we have empathy without emotional intelligence?
No.
No.
Yes, because you didn't mention that as
I think it was
the first of, yeah. Okay.
after, I'm tired and my mind has stopped working now. I think it was how we say it.
Yes, but because
Αυτονόητο,
ναι,
yeah.
κατάλαβα. Because it is the main fact that the audience can be adapted and become adjustable to the change if you are using
Yes,
the...
but we need to be very patient.
Yes, it needs time and it
One
needs
step at a time.
a teamwork
always.
environment to adjust the social awareness into the new process.
And when I said before, when I talked about empathy, and stepping into the other's shoes, I was focused on racism and minorities and all that. But the lady there was absolutely right about, I was a bit aggressive talking about the park and ride thing, but it's a completely different perspective, yes. It's a completely different. In the one perspective, you are calling society to change the mood, the mode, the feeling, the essence. And in the other hand, you are calling them to change their daily habits. It's 2 different things.
Yeah, I mean, it should be... it should be more organized, the park and ride, I think, into the emotional intelligence level of social awareness or
Maybe. I am not in
there-
the Υπουργείο Μεταφορών.
but there should
I would
be
just hope to make a campaign about it.
a longer time of, preparation into the...
I
to-
know
to
they are
become
working
a
very
practice.
hard.
Yes.
That's,
It
though I do
was-
not want
I mean,
to be the
if I want to criticize the so far presentation, it was so far good, but in order to persuade somebody to get into that change, it needs a longer period of time to convince people to...
I agree. Where I go mad is that because it happens for me to know that in this particular Υπουργείο Μεταφορών, they know, I know the whole team working for this park and ride and the βιώσιμη κινητικότητα and all that, they work like hell. Day and night, no matter if it's weekend or whatever, they work hard. And then you have some professional complainers just saying whatever they say.
Only to complain.
Yeah.
But it needs longer time to adjust to the change, and I believe that this is the case. I mean,
And
the complaints will be always into the first
look, when they
stage.
introduced the safety belt, some 30 years ago, I don't know, I have read reports that there were huge reactions. Now it's an automatic.
Yes, it's
Look,
just
you
an
step
automatic.
into your car, clip.
No.
Like that. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you for your presentation. You spoke about knowing our audience and their needs and using polls and surveys in order
Yep.
to get to know them. My question is, does this include asking them about which social media platform they prefer to use in order to be informed about us? For example, does a school, as an organization, need to ask parents which social media platform they prefer to use in order to be informed about what happens inside the school?
Of course. It goes without saying, actually.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Okay, I will go back to the previous question about the comments. What is your opinion on blocking someone? Because you said that, okay, of course we allow comments because that's the spirit of social media. What about blocking someone? Do you think that
As
there
an
should
individual
be,
or as an institution?
as an institution, if the page, the Facebook of the ministry or the
Look,
Facebook of whatever?
if I am a constant visitor of your page and all I do is use a hate speech, swelling or whatever, dirty shit, yes, once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, bingo, bye-bye. Yes.
I would like to continue on somehow the same topic. And I have a question for the colleagues here, basically. When you post something, when you or have a comment or an answer using the official account of your institution, what kind of approval do you get before doing that? I mean, for each post, do you have to go to the whole hierarchy and say, this is the post, I'm going to post it next week? And what about comments? How flexible are you? I can see the colleagues from PIO, from Press Information Office, that would like to answer that.
We get approval from the minister himself. Or usually it's him who says that we have to post something about this.
For every post? So, I mean, if you post weekly or...
I'm very new to this, so there was a large gap from June until yesterday. I did yesterday 2 posts, which were his own thoughts that we should post about it. So we don't have a strategy yet on how to post, what to post. We're still talking and considering and thinking about it. So, yes.
So, I'm just trying to find out how flexible and if this can actually work. So, you had 2 posts. So, the minister came and said, I could check the post, but okay. Let's post something about the new policy. Okay, he came directly to you or through your hierarchy, through your supervisor?
We work together.
Okay. So he came to you, okay, and then you created the post, text and image, and whatever, and then is it okay? Then, of course, he had some corrections because that's the old, and then you posted that, and you did for 2 posts in a single day.
It was one for him as a minister and one for the ministry.
Okay. I'm not comment, okay, if the minister has the time to do the posts.
No, he
But-
doesn't.
Yeah. So,
It's
I mean,
usually the press officers of the ministers who do it, who do the posts, for the ministers and for the ministries,
okay, and
usually.
so if you want to reply to a comment, okay, or I don't know if you have Twitter or if you want to share a post in Facebook, do you always ask the minister for that as well?
I think that when we have this strategy and this, and I know what he wants and he trusts what I do, I think that in long term, I will not have to get his approval for everything that I post on behalf of the ministry. On behalf of him, I think that we'll still have to get approved.
Okay, so it's a matter of long-term cooperation and
Yes.
trust.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yes. And the other colleagues, I mean, how do you treat with that? I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just answering theoretically because I'm not doing it practically. I will answer first for the blocking thing. It's better if you have it in your terms of use that this is allowed and this is not allowed, so you're always covered for doing this. For the question about the posting, I think because we are among us, the most difficult thing, I think, is to educate also the audience to be able to recognize and deal with the things they should, but also, on the other hand, some politicians or authorities, because they think they know, they want to do something else which is not useful or fruitful or for the right reasons, because sometimes they want to do it, not all, maybe a small percentage, but maybe for exposure or for showing that you do the work, but you don't actually show the work that the people want to see. So it's important for Cyprus, I think, we still have a long way to go to convince also the people that want to use the social media why, for what purpose is a tool. Because if they want to use it for the wrong reasons, then you're not going to be able ever to convey what you want to convey if you don't have a message. That's what I think personally. I don't do social media.
Yeah, this was very correct.
Yeah, it depends from the topic. If it's about a serious topic, we have a team. I work for Cyprus Radio Television Authority, and we have a team of 2 officers. It's about a serious topic, creating a draft text, and then we forward the text to the director of the service, who can make changes or say go for it, and that's it. Sometimes it's not just a post, it's a whole announcement. So in that case, we have more things to do, a more analytic topic, text. That's it. It's a simple procedure, but it depends from the topic. A simple, yes.
So as I can see, there are no more questions or anything that you want to raise. I'd like to thank Swan again. There is a question. So.
In case I'm asked to do it, ever.
Are you asking me or Mihalis?
No, you.
Me. I'm not
You.
here. I'm gone.
Do government bodies or authorities or ministries respond to other pages that refer to them? Or if they are talked about in other
Other
profiles?
pages? What kind of other pages? Official or?
Official.
No.
They don't.
I
They
don't
don't
think so.
engage with other, or use, you know, in some pages, not governmental, maybe in a newspaper, or people, they tag them underneath in their comments, especially for issues that are viral at times. Is it useful to be aware of this conversation going on and collect the information, and then the same come in their own page and address this issue?
It is very, very, very useful to be aware. It is very, very useful to read and see what they do and what they say about you or your agency, and create an archive, like a good spy or whatever. But I can't see any point of responding.
Responding in your own way, addressing those issues around.
If you have to, all right, but this is an extremely hypothetical thing, because usually all institutions are serving, in a way, the policies of a government. So suddenly, if you have this reaction from here, from another governmental institution, and something different from there, well, chaos, isn't it? I mean, before, even if you feel that you need to respond to what they said, and they are government, part of the government too, for you, and you are part of the government too, before doing everything, you need to coordinate with everyone. I think it's very, very, very tricky to have different, how that will happen anyway.
No, I think it was misunderstood, a small point. For example, if it's in Sigma Life and reported Adam Paul, and I think they can hear me. And they make a reference because it's a topic that concerns this ministry or commissioner or authority, but it's happening in other pages, not governmental. But you see, after you spy, that is the same topic coming up in other pages, not governmental.
Okay.
I say, is it wise to keep that information, although it's not something you were planning to address or comment on?
Hold it. I repeat what I said before. Yes, it's very wise and useful to
This year.
follow. Now, if we have a topic, something that goes viral, and there is a discussion here, there, and everywhere, if you think that this will create a continuation of waves in society, yes, you need to respond. But you're not going to respond to that page or that page or that page.
As a separate post, I mean.
You'll respond from your page, officially, to everyone, in a language that they will understand.
Thank you.
Are we done? Beautiful. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you very much for everything as well, for the very useful presentation and the workshop. Okay, you're also invited for lunch.
Thank you.
Because now we have lunch break. Okay, it's in the same room that we had coffee and lunch yesterday for